Hey, we're starting with chapstick as usual. How are you guys doing today? Let me know down below. My eyes are primed. Other than skincare, the only other two things on my face are L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer. So I used that for my brows today. Keep forgetting it's here. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, I guess I should use it. And the other thing under my eyes is the Beverly Hills MD Radiate and Revive Hydrating Eye Cream. And so that shimmer you see under here, that is this. I do think it helps to camouflage some of the under eye discoloration. We're going to do one look on each eye with the Natasha Denona Dream Palette. Notice I didn't say my Dream Palette. And what we're thinking, me, myself, and I, because I want to get a feel for the lighter shades. Kind of smells like glue or factory. You know what? The Safari palette had that same smell. First half of the lid, second half of the lid, outer corner. Subject to change. I will show the colors and call out the names. The other eye, first half of the lid, and second half of the lid, maybe, and one of the other lighter tones for a transition shade. So I do have brushes laid out. So for right now, we're going to take Serenity, this shade here with an Hourglass 3. I did not tap off, and we're going to put that there. That look was me seeing if I could see it. It is a shade on me. Very, they're not there. If you like very, they're not there, makeup, no makeup looks, and your my skin tone, this would be a great shadow for you. It does go on smoothly. It is a satin finish. It's not chunky at all, as you can tell. That was this one. So now we're going to flip the brush over and go into this shade. You know what? I did that backwards. This should have been on the inner corner. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Serenity all over the lid, and then we're going to top the first half of the lid with Spontaneous. You know, I have plans, and I don't know if it's because I was holding it upside down or not. I don't know. But this could be like a really easy look. Just blend out this top edge up there, and we are going to put a transition shade up there. But yeah, it's like really simple. Kind of looks orange in a way, coppery when I turn this way. So we're going to, ooh, this lid is sticking. We're going to take Spontaneous, and we're going to use the other side of the brush. This is what that looks like. I am not tapping off because I'm going to just press and sweep. Because it's not chunky and because it is smooth, it is going on smooth. This is a there, not there look. I do think it would be a little more vibrant just over the primer versus over this shade. But it did still show up though. And so that's a good thing. So this is for those of you who like these looks. And I think this is what they would consider like an everyday look. I don't know the difference. To me, a look is a look. And if you wear it, it's wearable. So that's those two shades. Not a good representation of Spontaneous because I put it in the wrong place. We're going to take a clean one and go into Invention. Now this one does look to be of a different finish. Yeah, it's a little... And I'm having to kind of wiggle it because when I swipe the brush, it didn't really want to pick up. So it's not chunky, it's not glittery, but it's not as smooth. And it is creamy because there's a dip in here already, just trying to pick it up on the brush. I'm not tapping off, and I'm just going to press. Ooh, and it is a different texture, definitely, because how I was able to just put these on, I cannot swipe this over because when I try, the brush just gets stuck on the primer. So this is a different texture. So we're going to have to pat. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put that brush down and take a sponge tip applicator, and we're going to swipe and put this on the first half of the lid. So you see the color differentiation between the brush and using the sponge tip. And I haven't tested it because I don't use my fingers for eyeshadow, but to me, this is what it would look like if I use my finger, because it does intensify the shadow. That looks way different, right? Tell me it doesn't, and I won't believe you. But yeah, so this is what that looks like, and it is a pretty color. Yeah, she cute. So we're going to put that down. We're going to go back to the brush, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to go into Familiar, this shade here, and we're going to put that on the outer corner. This is either a matte or a creamy matte, and so I did tap off. That's going to go here in our second half. I was going to say in our outer corner, but it's not. It's going on the second half of our lid. And there was some of this left on the other side of the brush, so that's why it's shimmer right there. I did not want that to happen. So we're tapping in, and we're going to try to just tap that on top of that area. Because Invention, that was this shade. I don't even remember if I said it or not. Because that's a shimmery one, and I don't want to sweep this that way. We're going to, that was powdery. We're going to take the sponge tip, not adding any extra shadow, and we're just going to pull it this way. And we're doing this to get our blend without swiping back and forth, which would create more fallout. And I do have some from that shade. So that's how we're going to do that. And that is done. And I do feel flakes on my face, and I see a few. That is okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take Risk, this shade here, and I am intentionally using shades I didn't use when I did the comparison between this and the Huda Beauty. I should take, no. So this is Risk. This shade right here. Oh gosh. And just seeing if I like the looks that I get with this, and if it's something I'm going to enjoy using. This is a pretty look, not my aesthetic, but it is pretty. And so I tapped the tip of the brush in the shadow so I can get this area right here. And we're going to flip it back this way to sweep it and to just drag it a little bit over here. Oh, I like that. So we're going to go a little further. I love this brush for that, because you can just like turn your hand and it'll just take it right there. I do like the look. I do. Easy, like very easy. So we're done with that brush. We're going to take a clean one, and we're going to go into Aspiration, this shade here. And this is going to go on the outer corner of the other eye. This one seems to be a drier texture than Risk, and I think Risk is a metallic or a satin or something. I think this might be a regular matte because of the way it's picking up, whereas Familiar, it picked up easier. Even though it was really powdery, it was easier to pick up on the brush. It did feel a little creamy. This one I think is just one of her regular mattes. And so we are just going to sweep that, and I like those two colors together, Familiar and this shade. I like what that's doing in this outer corner, and maybe because it's dark and I like dark looks. So we're just going to sweep a little bit over, very lightly though, because this is a dark shade, which is nice. So we're just going to leave that like that. Yeah. So we're going to take, this is an Esom V33. What's this? Those mattes are powdery. We're going to, yeah, you see all of this like right here? And then there's some from this shade here, and there's a little up here, but that one you really can't tell. We're going to take Nurture, this shade here, and we're going to tap, you can't see me. We're going to tap in, tap off, and that's going to be our transition shade for this eye. And so we're going to take this all the way over, and actually up to our brow bone too, since it is a light shade, but it's not making me look dusty, which is great. I like that, and I like how it blended this over here too. Yeah, this is a nice look, a nice easy look. We're going to put that down. We're going to take a clean one, and we're going to go into Carpe Diem, this shade here. And I do believe we didn't use any of these shades before. And so actually I'm going to tap this one because I didn't want to sweep the way that shadow sweep. So we're going to tap it first. We're tapping back in, tapping off, tapping, and then we're going to go back and blend. I like this shade too because it also doesn't look ashy on me, and it may be because it's a little more warm toned or a more neutral tone than some of the other shades. I just tapped in very lightly because I want to just feather this inward just to give that a tiny bit of a blend, and I don't like how that looks now. So Troll done did it now. So I'm going to take a clean one. What shade was that? Was that Aspiration? Yes, because I don't remember which one it was. This shade is powdery, and we're just going to put this back. I liked it better when it was darker. Yeah, and we're going to take this up here. I'm messing up here. I'm not liking what I just did right here in this spot. I'm not liking that. We're going to take the sponge tip that had this shade on it. We're not adding shade to it, but we're just going to just press that over just to get some of that lightness back. I didn't like how dark that got that quick. So this eye I'm messing up on. This look I do like. This is a different type of wannabe smoky look. I don't really know what to do. So what I'm going to do, the brush that had Nurture on it, this shade, I'm not adding anything on here right now, but we're just going to just take this with whatever's left in the brush and just buff that area right here. And something needs to happen here too because that is not blended at all. So we're going to take Familiar, the same brush. No, we're not. We're going to take a clean one. This is a Fenty 210, and we're going to go into, what did I say? Familiar? Did I say that? I don't know. So just a little tiny bit. And we're just going to just lightly feather right there. I tapped in again. So we're just tapping. Did that work? Just tapping. I think that worked. I actually like how the lid looks. I'm not liking what I did taking that dark shade there. But I do think it's going to pull together. So we're going to put that away. What are we going to do now? I'm going to do liner, figure out lower lash line. Do I want to do that now? Yep, let's do that now. I don't have anything under my lower lash line, so I don't know if this is going to stick or not. So we're going to take, this is looking really fuchsia, but in person, it's not. But we're going to take that. This is an Esom V31. We're going to take that. This is Instinct. And we're going to put that under this lower lash line. I wonder how this would look as a liner up top. Maybe we'll do that. Oh, I got it in my eye. We're taking a clean one and we're going to go into Edgy, this shade here, and we're going to put that over here. So as of right now, we've used every shade, I think, except Unity, this pink right here in the middle. So what I'm going to, nah, that ain't going to look right for this eye. I was going to say maybe I'll put it in the corner here. I don't know. But I don't think it would show up. That's a lighter shade. These two kind of look the same on the, this is getting in my eye because you know what, there's no liner under here for it to stick to, and there's no primer under here for it to stick to, so it's puffing up and getting into my eyes. And so underneath this lash line is this one, and underneath this lash line is this one, but don't they kind of look the same? Ooh, y'all know I hate that. So we're going to put both of those away, and we're going to take a Fenty brush. This is a 220, and we're going to go into Unity, this shade here. And I don't think this is going to show up much, and this might be a mistake. This looks like a blend out shade, because this is very pale. It did tone it down though, so it does serve a purpose. I think, as I said, this would be a good blend down shade. This here, I don't know if something bit me or what, because even when I touch it, it's sensitive. This red bump right here, I have no idea what that is. I also just want to take Unity just because, and just put that right here for no other reason than to use it. And I know some people aren't fans of just using shadows to say they're using it, but my goal was to get through every shade in this palette, and I am doing that, and we are rolling with it. So yeah, we've used everything in here, because I'm looking in here, and everything does have dips and things in it. And yeah, so that's this palette. So we have the two looks. Was I going to try that brown as a liner? I was. So we're going to take this brush. This is an Esom T03. And we're going to go into Aspiration, this shade here. This brush is not thin enough to give me a thin line, but I'm just curious how this will look over here. And I think it looks nice. I think that's nice. And this will be easier to wash off too than a gel or liquid liner. This is a nice liner. I prefer a thinner line because otherwise it'll transfer into my crease area because I have hooded lids. I like that there. I'm not going to do it for the other eye because it's not going to show up. So we're going to take a clean one and go into Black is Black. And that's going to be the liner for the other eye. And so we're going to put that here. You know what? I could have put Aspirations over here because that was that dark shade here. So that may have worked. Or even taking Edgy, this shade here. Yeah, there's not many deep shades in here to choose from, and trying to place them over other shades may or may not show up like they would if they were on their own, meaning over bare skin or just on top of a primer. So this is Black is Black. So if you don't want to use liquid or gel liner, use an eyeshadow. This came out way thicker than I wanted, and when I do a thick line, it takes away the lid that you see when I look straight. Look at this. You see no lid color over here. You don't see any lid at all because the liner took that space. And over here, you see a little lid, but I think it's just because the liner I used on that side is a little lighter. But look at that. That took up the whole lid because the line is thicker than I wanted. We're going to do just a really basic lip, and that'll be it for this video. And what am I looking for? Fenty Gloss Bomb and Hot Chocolate right on top of chapstick. We're not going to do mascara. Did I just say that? I don't even remember. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for being here. And it not bothering you. I don't think it bothers you that I don't do like a complete full face. Because I know some people, they do the eye look and then do their face. Whereas me, I'm just like, you know. And maybe because I'm just playing around and just trying to see how things work and wanting you to see how things work and how they would show up on my complexion. And so this is it. These are the two looks with the Natasha's Dream palette. Let me know what you think. Like, do you think you'll get this palette if you haven't already? Or do you think you're going to pass? We're starting with chapstick as usual. I have on eye cream. I have on NC4 Estee Lauder concealer under my eyes and just this area here. And I set that with the Maybelline Fit Me translucent powder. On my brows, I have the Lottie Brow Pencil in Deep Dark. And that's all that is on my face right now. And I have brushes laid out. We're doing two looks with the Empowered palette, and I realized as I was watching my videos after the editing and when they were live on YouTube, that I kept calling this the empowerment palette. So maybe I felt, I don't know, empowerment, but it would be I felt empowered. Anyway, what we're going to do one look on each eye with shades that we have not used in this palette before. And from looking at it, we have not used these two shades, this shade, this one, the gold, this we have not used, this we have not used, and these four we have not used. And so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 shades that we have not used. And since 2 of the 10, unless I'm missing something, are the golds. And so one each, one inner lid, and then we're going to put these two on a lid, and then this one, and we'll just figure out the rest as we go along. But we are going to definitely use shades. For the one eye that we're using, this gold with this one, we'll probably put this on the outer lid, and then we'll just have these three, and I think this one. No, actually we used this one. Let me just get into it because I'm confusing my damn self. Hourglass number no. Sponge tip applicator. We're going into Limitless for this eye, and then we're going to go into this shade here, this gold, which is Charisma, on the other eye. And I was thinking before I decided tonight, this Limitless is chunky. The sponge tip is picking it up and it is flaking inside of the pan. I hate using my fingers. This is not really picking up because it's flaking off. And I don't even know how you would pick this up on a brush. I really don't. Like to pick it up on your brush and then wet the brush. Because this, damn it. I think I really am going to have to use my finger. Shit, this is not, I am pressing in, I'm swiping, and all it's doing is just moving it around in chunks in the pan. But this was only going to go right here anyway, so that will be fine. That is all we're going to do with that. Like this is almost a deal breaker for me because I do like to use every shade in the palette. But if you can get some on your whatever you're using, and I'm trying to pick up the chunks because I'm thinking if I can just get it there and just like swipe it, that it would stay. And so I'm just trying to pick up chunks. I wanted to get higher up, but this is like really just super soft too. I was thinking when I decided to sit here and do this video at 12:30 in the morning, that some people were saying, you know, we don't need 2 golds in a palette. And I was thinking, okay, Natasha Denona has a palette called the Gold Palette, which has like 5 golds in it. And people were saying, yes, you need all of them because they're different textures and different finishes, different levels of shine. And so, but I'm like, okay, but Huda Beauty does 2 golds. And it's like, you don't need them both. So I'm just like, so make up your mind, like, which is it? Or maybe because it's called the Gold Palette, you expect it to be a lot of golds, but I don't know. Now, Charisma, it's not as soft as Limitless. As long as this doesn't get in my eyes, I am fine. Stuff in my eyes is not good. And this is easier to apply because it's not as chunky. This one does seem to be more gold. And this seems to be more yellow, if gold and yellow are not the same shade. This one is definitely easier to work with. That Limitless, it is limited, in my opinion, because that was challenging. But I did get it on, and I see a flake on my nose. But I'm not seeing fallout, which is good. Even I did feel something, feel like it fell out on my face. So I was kind of concerned about my eye, and that's when I made that comment. So do they look the same? No. But if you wore one day and one the next day. Would anybody notice? I don't think so. So these are the two. This one is on this eye. This one is on this eye. So they are pretty much true to pan. Not much difference, but you can see a slight difference. So, so we're going to keep it moving. So that's it for the sponge tip. We're going to throw that away. We're going to, I think I might need another sponge tip for Bold Moves, this shade here. I'm going to dip a brush in it just to see. It is picking up. And since we're putting it on a primer, we're going to see if it will just go on. And it is going on. It is picking up with a brush. So that I am liking. It is a little flaky, but nowhere near this chunky monkey, which is what I call some of Pat McGrath's Celestial shades. I am going to take a sponge tip applicator because I just want to see. And this picks up real easy with one. I didn't show you the other ones because it was so hard to even pick that up. And we're going to swipe that. That makes my lids look textured. Oh, wow. Holding my thoughts. And I'm keeping this in so you can see the process of applying these shades. I'm going to overlap just to blend, and I'm not messing with that gold anymore, so that's why I'm not taking the gold to sweep over. So this is what we have on this side. I'm going to take a little bit more of Bold Moves just to try to bring that a little higher up here. And that's what we're going to do with that, because that has a potential to be really messy. And there's like gold flakes all in this pan. We're going to take a clean Hourglass number 3, and we're going to go into Visionary, this shade down here at the bottom, because we did use the one in above it. I was going to say between it, but the one above it we did use. And this is picking up 2 different colors. This is this. And so how do you get it to pick up both the colors? So I'm turning the brush opposite ways to try and get the same color on the brush so it can apply the same. And I'm going to overlap to pull that gold over as gently as possible. This shade right here I like. It is smooth. I just don't like chunky monkeys. And this one is not chunky at all. And it's easy to pick up, easy to apply. And that is that. And we're going to just bring that here just a little bit at the top. This is going to be a challenge. I'm going to go back with a clean sponge tip applicator. And I know we have different sizes, but the other one I threw in the trash already. Because I want to bring Bold Moves up higher still. Or at least like over here. I didn't want to go up that high, but I wanted to bring it over here. We have 2 Scott Barnes number 63 brushes. And one we're going to take Winter, this shade here. And that is going to go on this eye. I'm not tapping off. These two look nice together. I know I like that already. Bold Moves and this shade. And of course, that's probably why they're paired that way, right? Right. And so I do really like that. And I'm going to just take the top of the brush and lightly sweep over just a little bit. I really like how this is looking right here. We're going to sweep lightly just to get a little bit of a blend. I'm going to tap the tip of the brush. Let me just show you. Like this. So that I can sweep that along the upper lash line right here. And that is it for the lid on this eye. I really like this. I say that's it and then I go back to it. I like how those two look together. I do. And I kind of want to take it. I did not put any more shadow on the brush. I want to just move this up just a little bit higher. Because I think it's going to get funky when I use those transition shades, which look like they may possibly blend in with my skin tone. And we're going to take Legacy, this shade here, for this outer corner. This is going to leave us with those like peachy tones, which are going to go in our transition area. And I'm not sure how that's going to look. I like this right here too. We're going to get some along the lash line here, and we're going to feather this inward a little bit. We're going to take this over a little bit, the same as we did on the other eye, which doesn't matter because two completely different looks. I do like this. So this lid, we have Chunky Monkey, Bold Moves, and this. On this eye, we have less Chunky Monkey, this shade here, and this one on the lid. And I do like how the outer lid is looking. Actually, I don't quite like this tone. I think it's a little bright, even though I do like bold colors, and maybe if I would have not taken it as further over. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the brush that had Visionary on it, that center shade, and we're going to overlap a little bit more to try and tone down the gold on the first part of the lid, which all it's doing is just making the gold travel. So I'm going into Visionary again, a same shade, and I'm maneuvering the brush trying to get the dark part, and we're going to just tap it because maybe that will not cause the gold to travel. It worked a little bit. Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to pick up two different tones, but then I guess so, it is two different tones, and so maybe I thought it just looked that way because sometimes things look mixed, but then when you swipe your brush in it, it's really not. But this one really is. I like that a little bit better. This gold right here is throwing me off. User error. This is my second time using this palette and my first time using these shades, but I'm liking this, the center lid and the outer corner on both of these looks. I am really liking. I am really digging it. So we're going to put that brush away, and so that leaves us with 1, 2, 3 shades, and I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, I don't think we use Rebel. So we have this one, these two, and that one. We're using Esom V33 brushes. So we're going to take one and go into Rebel, this shade here. I'm looking at this palette and realizing, well, for this, they set it up where you can do a column, and you can do this one in a column, and you can do a look with this one in a column. It just gets funky when you get to like these tones over here. And of course, this is not a column. And I still need to experiment with using that brown and black as a base. And so we're sweeping this here, and I'm being careful not to go over the gold because I don't want that to travel upward. And so that's why I'm just stopping right here where we get to the gold. I want to take that same brush and I'm just going to tap right here. I'm not going to sweep because I don't want that gold to travel. We're just tapping. That's all we're doing. I'm tapping into Rebel again, and we're just going to tap right here, just on the line where the gold is. So that is it for that. I doubt that I would use Limitless again. That was just too hard to pick up, and as I said, I'm not using my finger. And even with the sponge tip, digging it, it just falls off in chunks. We're taking a clean one and we're going in to Get It, this shade here. And we're just tapping in. This is what we did on the other side too. And we are going to tap that. And then we're going to sweep. That's nice. I like this too. So we're going to put that down. What are we going to do for lower lash line? I have NYX retractable eyeliners out already. We're going to put Snatched under this eye, and we're going to put Gray under this eye. So I'm going to edit this part out. We're going to take two Fenty 220s, and for one, we're going to take Winter, the shade here, and we're going to put that under here on top of the gray. We're going to take the clean one and go into Visionary, the shade here. Is that what we put on our outer lid? No, we used Get It. So we're going to take that. That's like not really a shade. Was that what we used on our outer corner? That's what we use for transition. What did we put on outer corner? I don't even remember, y'all. Legacy is what we put on outer corner. And I only have 2 of these. Oh, wait a minute. I got 3 of these. So we're going to take a clean one. We're going to put this away. And we're going to go into Legacy, this outer lid color. Y'all see how excited I got that I had to clean one of these? Because I did not want to put that orange in there. Or peach or plum, apple, grapefruit, papaya, whatever. Yo, I'm tripping. And so that's what we're going to do with that. And 2 Fenty 210 brushes. These are the last 2 that we have to use. Actually, these 2, this one and this one. So we're going to take this one, which is Best Self, and we're tapping straight into it. And we're just going to buff over here, because we're just using colors. And we're going to take the clean one and go into Power, this shade here. I do think this one is going to come off kind of dusty. So we're going to do liner, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to put on the Scott Barnes Pumped Up Mascara. For upper lash line, we used the Fenty Fly Liner and then Big Truffle, which is this shade. And so it really didn't show up too well over this. And I think because of the tones of the shadows, excuse me, this side, it just kind of blended in too. A black would have been better, but this is what we did and this is what we got. And let me figure out a lip. We're going to wipe off some chapstick. I want to do, y'all know I want to do a black lip, but let me stop. Next thing I grabbed, ooh, those are colors Nima Tang Like to Set It. I haven't used this in a while. I did just pick it at random. It smells different. I have not had this that long. Hasn't been open. I opened it September. And this is October. I am not liking how this is smelling, and I'm not sure if I remember it smelling this way before. I did get a second set. I purchased this set because it was 30% off, and then I purchased the second set because it was 30% off. And so I could open up the other one and see if it smells the same, but then I'll have 2 of them open and not need them both open. But I am tempted to throw it away because it smells weird. Yeah, I'm not liking this. If that shade wasn't so chunky, Limitless, I would try to tap that on the lid. Do I want to be messy and use my finger? No, I don't. Excuse me. So we're just going to leave this like this, but I do want to put something shimmery on my lips. We're going to take Miel. This is a Nomad Gloss. And I just really want to put something on this lip. I am throwing it away because it doesn't smell good. And hopefully the other one doesn't smell the same, because then that means I bought, either that's how they smelled, or I purchased 2 bad lipsticks. And they came in a bundle. So I still have the gloss and the lip liner. The bullet lipstick I opened, I didn't like it. I don't know if I kept it or decluttered it. And when I purchased the second set, I asked a friend if she wanted it, and she said yes. And so I sent her the new one from the second set. I like this better. So that is it for these 2 looks. This is this eye. And this is this eye. Let me know. So we've done 2 additional looks with Natasha's My Dream Palette, her Dream Palette, and these 2 looks with the Huda Beauty Empowered Palette. And so you've seen 3 looks from me. The first 2 were comparing the colors that to me look similar, to see how similar they were. And this time with Natasha's, we used shades we had not used before, and we did the same with Empowered. Use shades we have not used before. And so these are the looks that I've come up with so far. This is going to take a nap, and I'm going to come back and do, not this video, and do comparison palettes. I did a poll on my community tab showing palettes that had similar color stories and asked if you would be interested in seeing looks, you know, one on each eye, like I did with the Natasha and Huda's palette. And yeah, the majority of responses was like, yeah, do it. And so that's what I'm going to do. But this is it for this video. Thank you for being here. Let me know what you think. Let me know about the 2 golds. I really doubt I will use this one. Limitless is limited. And if the pan was removable, I would just take it out to not even have to look at it. And it was just too messy. And there's like gold flecks all over here on my station, everywhere. And I know, use your finger, blah, blah, blah. I'm not using my finger for makeup. And sponge tips work well for me, but it didn't even work with this one. It's soft, but it's extremely flaky at the same time. Rubbing the brush in it, it just brushed up flakes. Using the sponge tip, it just brushed up flakes. And so, no, that's a no for me. And there's like gold flecks like everywhere. Like if I could sell it and make some money, I'm trying to tap it out the palette. So yeah, it's just like little gold pieces just all over my station here. So I'm gonna go. I'm sorry. You will see me soon. Thank you.